Element Matuga, Vice Chairman of the committee. Thank you.
Honorable Musa Sirma, MP Eldama Ravin, and Chair of this committee. Legal Counsel. Oh, the staff first. Let them introduce themselves.
Good morning. My name is Abdelaziz Shobe. I'm clerk to this committee.
Good morning. My name is Penina Simran, Legal Counsel to the committee.
Chalanga Mayo, Research Officer.
Good morning, honorable members and Chair. My name is Mohamed Chilo. I'm a research assistant, part of the Secretariat.
Good morning. I'm Kathleen Nanzala, Committee Clerk.
Good morning. My name is Edith Shepngeno, Media Relations Officer.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Marian Gabo, Public Communication Officer.
Good morning. My name is Boniface Mugambis, Agenda Thompson.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Benjamin Ochuthi, Hansard Officer.
Legal Counsel, you will be taken under oath. Whatever you say before this committee is should be true and nothing but the truth. So,
I, Yvonne Boyani Manyaga, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matters under this consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
thank you. So compose yourself, be ready, and here we take off. First, we want you to introduce yourself to us, your educational background, that is all the way chronologically until you reach the apex of your education. Also family background and work experience, employment experience also, and your present engagement where you are. And we have seen the documents. I hope all the compliance are here. We shall be going through, but of course you can have a mention of them. And that's it. We want to know you first. Let's know you. Welcome.
Thank you, Chair. And honorable members, my name is Yvonne Boyani Manyaga. I am an advocate of the High Court of Kenya. I was admitted to the bar on the 18th day of January 2016. For my educational background, I did my undergraduate at University of Nairobi, where I got a Bachelor's of Laws. And after that, I went ahead to KSL, where I got the diploma, and that's why I'm an advocate. For my high school, I was at the Kenya High School. And for my primary school, I was at St. George's Grassland Academy, which is in Nakuru. I currently am a legal, group legal at Dawa Life Sciences, which is a pharmaceutical company, and I do their legal in-house matters. And prior to that, I was at Kimondo Gashoka, which was an in-house law firm for Direct Line Assurance Company, where we did a lot of insurance matters. Before my stint at there, I was in AM Makori and Company Advocates, where I was handling a lot of litigation matters. And I worked with, I did many programs which involved children in conflict with the law. I have also worked at Archer and Wilcock as a legal counsel. And I've also done several internships and other engagements such as voluntary purposes. I have been an intern at Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I did my pupillage at the Office of the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. I have volunteered at ICJ Kenya, and also I was an intern at Mohammed Migai and Company Advocates. So for now, I am single for my family background, and I am the last born of 4, and I also have a father and a mother. I have also gotten all my clearance documents from the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, DCI, EACC, HELB, and the CRB. I've gotten clearances from all those institutions. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, we advertised that you are going to be interviewed today, and we ask members of the public to submit their information or whatever they want to say about you. We have one from Buta Siganga, an advocate of the High Court, who was given a clean bill of health of you, and possibly that is for you to know, because we have, if there are adverse, we would also be telling you. Okay, so this one has does not have anything against you, so, or anything adverse against you. So that one is done. Now, can you relate your academic background and qualifications to what you are looking for? That is, you want to be, I hope you know that you want to be a director at the national, an independent director at the National Government Constituency Development Fund. What is your relations? What do you think you can bring on board which can make us believe that you have those qualifications?
Thank you, Chair. I am an advocate of 10 years standing. My legal background, I have worked at various institutions in various capacities, and I believe the variety in knowledge and practice that I have would is an asset to being a member of the board, because we will be implementing the Act, and the Act has had so many challenges, and by being challenged in court, and several lawsuits that have been filed, and currently it's at the Supreme Court. My wealth of knowledge from the legal profession would be a very good asset in also trying to guide the board with my fellow members in how to be able to steer forward, if any amendments need to be done, how to go about it, and the best way to implement and ensure the fund is sustainable moving forward.
Okay, thank you. Do you know, or have you read the Act, and do you know the responsibilities bestowed to you if you are given this appointment? What are the works you are supposed to do as a board member?
The board basically considers projects that have to be undertaken. It also oversees the efficient management of the fund. The board also ensures timely disbursements of the funds to the constituencies. It provides oversight on how the management of the funds are going to be done, and also, yes, basically, it oversees how the the fund is going to be implemented at the constituency level, and also guiding the constituents at the constituency level, the committee.
Okay, before I hand over, you've not told us because everybody belongs to a constituency in this country. Which constituency do you come from?
West Mugirango.
Eh?
West Mugirango.
West
in
Mugirango.
Nyamira County.
Nyamira County. Thank you. Now, Vice Chair.
I have some questions, but for now, I just want to inquire from the questionnaire that you filled. I'll probably, please switch off that one. Probably I'll come back later once my colleagues have also taken a shot. On the questionnaire that you filled, questionnaire 23, sources of income. I hope you have a copy of your questionnaire, which you filled. Isn't just a questionnaire that you filled. It says, list sources and amounts of all income received during the calendar year preceding your nomination and the current financial year, current calendar year. Now, you feel that in 2025, your income from salary was 250,000, and you got dividends of 35,000. Quick mathematics tells me that your average salary was 20,000 per month. And you just take an oath that you are going to tell us nothing but the truth. I know advocates can be good in going around issues, but on this one, can you shed light how for a senior advocate like you, your salary has been 20,000 per month, totaling to 250,000 in a whole year? And then, on the same note, that takes me now to the next question, where now you've stated that your net worth is 5 million shillings, isn't it? So, how come?
Just to clarify, I meant 250,000 per month. It wasn't an annual figure. That is the salary that I receive. It was not cumulative.
So you didn't understand the question? Because it clearly says, list the sources and amounts of all income received during the calendar year preceding your nomination.
I apologize. It was an error because I listed it as a monthly figure instead of an annual. But the other figures are accurate.
So you are saying that your sources of income for the whole of last year was just the salary only, nothing else, no consultancy, no other fees. And I think from your introduction, your resume looked quite good. You know, this goes to Chapter 6, integrity. You know, as a board director, you will be looking at your fund account managers and whatever on integrity issues. So I'm looking at it from that angle. Is it true that for the whole of 12 months, your income was only the salary?
For the year 2025, most of it, yes.
That your net worth is 5 million, that is also factual.
It was an aggregate of everything that yes.
Okay, as I've said, I have other questions, but I would want my colleagues also to.
Thank you, Chair, and congratulations for Yvonne for being a nominee. To me, there are two things I would wish you to explain. One, whether you have ever interacted yourself, not at the national level, but at your constituency level of West Mugirango, on any of an Ng-Cdf project, whether you have met beneficiaries who tell you stories. But then lastly, I want you, the same question you were asked in terms of your expertise. knowing very well we have court cases and that and all that. But how are you going to assist the board so that these cases we have must be the last, but we must come up with a strategy, and the board must come up with a strategy to ensure in timely, before we end up going into courts, there is a way of mediating and dealing with these issues differently than the way we deal with them directly in courts.
At my constituency level, I have not actively been, I have not been a beneficiary of the fund, but I have interacted with people who have. There are many vulnerable families within West Mogrango constituency, and many of those children are grateful to the fund for giving them a chance in being able to go to school and having access to some of these facilities which were not there before. And it has opened up opportunities for them to be able to proceed to their tertiary education. The KMTCs in Nyamira have been a good recipient of the Ng-Cdf fund. And currently, even the latest project that we had was a high school administration block, which was being built. So the teachers and the students actually get to use these amenities in the betterment of their education. There has been very good responses from the people on the grassroots to the fund. As for my expertise, the cases that have been filed, it needs a collective, it's not one-prong solution for you to just be able to say that this is the way that we're going to sort this issue out. Most of the challenges, like the amendments in 2022 and 2023, sorted out a good chunk of what was being contested initially. And by them going to the Court of Appeal now, and subsequently to the Supreme Court, there's very little issues that need to be sorted out. Separation of powers was already sorted out. The issue of encroachment to the devolved devolved functions of government were sorted out in those amendments, and therefore, if we are able to have stakeholder engagements, some of these issues don't really need to be litigated upon. We can be able to have consultative forums. For example, I saw that the board had a consultative forum with the governors to be able to understand and have a meeting of a mind on how the mandate does not encroach and everyone has their own space and how they can operate. So these stakeholder engagements are very important because from such issues, you can be able to have amendments to the Act instead of having very litigious processes. Yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Oh, and just to mention, the Act actually provides for arbitration before actually going for litigation in court. So if we could actually be taking advantage of the arbitration and the alternative dispute resolution mechanisms that are envisioned in the Act, this would be able to reduce some of the litigation matters and the lengthy processes.
Thank you, Chair. You've said part of the projects you're aware of are KMTCs in Nyamira. How many are they?
One, sorry. In Nyamira County.
Yes, you said KMTCs in plural. How many are they?
One, sorry.
When were you last in your constituency?
2 months back.
Your area member of parliament?
Pardon?
Who is your area member of parliament?
Steve Mogaka.
Can you tell us of the structure of the board? How does the Ng-Cdf board, how is it structured right from Nairobi?
The structure of the board has a secretariat which they work with, and it's based in Nairobi. It is headed by the CEO. At the constituency level, each constituency has a committee which oversights and implements the projects. And then the PMCs within every project, every project has a PMC which implements and administers the funds for each and every project. So the structure is the board itself, which has a secretariat headed by the CEO. Then you have the committees, and then the PMCs at each and every project level.
You did mention that part of the issues that were needed to be addressed by the court was the conflict between national and devolved roles. What are the actual functions of the Ng-Cdf funds? What are the main functions?
The fund mainly covers education infrastructure. It does primary school, secondary, tertiary, and TTIs. And it also does security in infrastructure, building of police stations, administrative chief camps, and the likes. And it also caters to construction and installation of the innovation hubs that the current government is actually frontlining about. And they also have the provision for emergency funds for projects which are not foreseen and they cannot wait to be included in the next year's financials. Yes.
Chair, this is the last one on this round. You've applied to join the board to oversight CDF monies, which is technically constituencies. You come from Nyamira. Do you know all the constituencies in Nyamira? Just from your home county.
I know a few. I don't know the whole list because I know we have West Mogirango, then you have Borabu. There's the one. We have 3 constituencies, and there's the one at the center.
Thank you, Chair.
My apologies.
Next.
General, what is the role of your role will be at the board of directors?
We will be evaluating the projects that have been identified at the constituency level and the wards on the implementation. So we'll be
questions and answer to the chair for everybody.
My
Okay?
apologies. Okay.
Yes. Done with the question for Mashele? You're done with the last?
Answer to the chair.
Okay, so the board basically considers the proposals for the projects. It disburses the funds to the constituencies. It ensures efficient management of the fund. It ensures that the projects are implemented and the national government's functions are decentralized to the grassroots level. Yes.
Next.
Thank you, Chair. Madam Boyani, I have two questions to ask you. The first one is Section 24 of the Ng-Cdf Act of 2015 provides that only projects that are within the national...
You can write the questions as you...
Within the national government functions will be funded by the board. Projects that are aligned to national government. Whereas Section 41 provides that community projects will be eligible for support under the fund. The first one is on national government projects. This one is for community. That's under Section 41. Now, briefly explain to this committee how the board is able to determine threshold for eligibility of community projects without encroaching onto county government functions as provided in the 4th schedule of the Constitution. That's my first question. Possibly you handle that before I ask you the second one.
Thank you, Chair and Honorable Member. The national government functions are the only mandate for the Ng-Cdf fund, because the devolved functions are catered to by the county governments, and therefore Section 41, referring to community projects, the people on the grassroots themselves know what they need and how this can be undertaken. So they need to be more sensitized on the relevant institutions to be approached to support the various projects, because only those which fall within the national government functions can be able to be implemented in this case. So if there's anything else that falls outside the purview, it will be handled by the county government or any other institution that has such mandate. So despite the community coming up with these projects, they still need to fall within the ambit of the law. And the board is able to determine this by the assessment, and the people on the ground who are part of the committee and the PMCs are able to advise over same. The active participation and the grassroots engagements, those are the ones that are able to inform this separation of these functions. Because even though the fund cannot take up any roles that are not within the ambit of the national government functions. Thank you, Chair.
My second question is on the financial side. As a non-executive director of the board, one of your responsibilities will be to ensure that the management of the fund, of the Ng-Cdf board, adheres to relevant legislative and regulations regarding financial reporting. A majority of the constituencies audited. The reports from the Auditor General either show the opinion which are qualified, adverse, or disclaimer, with a few having unqualified opinion. If approved as a board member, what will be your input in ensuring that constituencies pursue financial responsibility and prudence, hence realizing unqualified audit opinion? What I'm saying here, the audit reports sometimes are bad, adverse. You as a board member, how will you help the constituencies to make sure that the audit reports are not qualified?
Just as a blanket answer, a lot of this goes to training and being aware of what the people on the grassroots need to do, or what is expected of them. So as being part of the board, creating policies and structures to safeguard any misappropriation of the funds and abuse of the finances within the fund. This will be able to help in the implementation of the projects. They become timely and more efficient when you measure some of these things, or people are trained. Then they will be able to avoid some of these pitfalls, because some of them could actually be because they do not know. Because like for the PMCs, most of them are on the grassroots level, and they're ordinary Kenyans within the government, ordinary Kenyans within the Republic. So for example, like the expenditures, they should be limited to within what is allowed within the Act, and they are restricted in such cases. So the board is able to oversight over this and issue necessary policies and frameworks that can be able to govern this.
Sorry, Chairman.
Yes.
I have another question. Are you aware that many of the Ng-Cdf staff in the constituencies undergo a lot of training, and yet we still have this occurring?
I am not aware, but given the chance, when I join the board, we would be able to actually find out what the issue is, despite being fully qualified and having all these trainings, why they're not able to implement the same.
Mary?
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations on making it. Yeah, Yvonne? Mine is brief. In the recent past, CDF, this fund has been under a very sharp attack and criticism. What is your stand? Do you think this fund should exist or it should not exist? Do you think it should be out there with the county government, or do you think it should be domiciled with the national government? Chair, I submit.
Proceed.
The Ng-Cdf
to constituencies towards Ng-Cdf is adequate, considering what it should be handling, what it's supposed to be addressing, which is education and security in our constituencies. Do you think what is allocated is adequate? Thank you.
The word on the ground is that they could use more. With the little that they have, the community has been able to, different communities have been able to get different infrastructure and establishments that they have been able to use, and it has actually gone a long way. There are some places which have been inaccessible to some of these resources, and they now have the fund that they can be able to build some of these things, and actually kids are no longer, in most parts, they're no longer reading under trees. They have classrooms where they can be able to actually enjoy and further their studies in. So, yes.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Tandaza?
Thank you, Chair. I was surprised when you are not able to actually just off the cuff know the constituencies in your county. Have you ever stayed in Nyamira, or you've just been, from your schooling it seems to have been in Nairobi, but have you ever had a stint in the village somehow?
I regularly visit. I have a good portion of my family from there, so I do visit a lot.
And can you retake that question? Because I felt really that we are looking at a director for Ng-Cdf constituencies who, we are not talking about 290 constituencies, but just constituencies from the county that you come from, you don't know them. Have you refreshed your mind now, just to give me some bit of comfort that you know the country?
I do know the country. I know we have 3 constituencies in Nyamira.
Fine.
There's
yes.
West Mogirango, Borabu, and North Mogirango, which would be the center part of Nyamira, because the county. And
okay.
I think
I think it just goes to the extent that you've not been to Nyamira, because there are not even 3, there are 4. Now, if the 3 is a problem, what about the 4th one? Or we'll say north, south, east, west. It might not be that way.
No, it's not that way. If you look at Nyamira County, it's actually it's almost vertical.
Patia mwa Kenya, there are 4.
Yes, there are 4.
What's the name of the 4 constituencies?
South Mogirango, North Mogirango West, and Borabu.
Chair, South Mogirango is very far away from Nyamira County. It's actually near Transmara. It's in Kisii County. Just to assist the fourth constituency is Kitutu Masaba. It's the biggest constituency in the whole of Kisii.
Thank you.
Okay, so that being the case, I have my 3 questions. 1, have you looked at the vision of the Ng-Cdf board, and what is it? And if you've looked at it and you know what it is, with your expertise and your knowledge, how do you think you are going to achieve meeting that vision? But first, have you looked what is the vision for the board?
The vision of the board is to provide equitable resources for all Kenyans while implementing the funds.
So from your experience and where you sit now, how far has the board achieved, and what do you think you will bring into that board towards achieving that vision? Because I don't think it's there yet.
There's a lot more work that the fund can be able to do. The resources, they have been expanded, and if you look at it, implementing the national government functions within the constituencies, it's beneficial to a lot of Kenyans. The innovation hubs are actually going to help Kenyans harness the IT, and the youths are able to participate and actively be productive and earn a living from this, because for most of it, if you look at it, the issue is employment. When a project is being done and an infrastructure is being built, the local technical experts are normally engaged in these projects, and also the artisans who are within the local area, and you find that the money then actually trickles down within the community. The children who actually get to study within these infrastructures and get the bursaries, they actually get to advance themselves, and they're able to support their family in return. And therefore, the value of the people is actually lessened, if we can be able to use that word. You actually give them you add their dignity, and they're able to focus on other things and not sustenance and some of these things.
I don't think you got my question, but since you've attempted your answer, because we are referring to the vision, not what is being done right now. But you know, vision is a long-term goal. It's something that you would want to achieve. It's something that you are saying, when I grow up, this is what I want to become. Now, the other question, maybe I just put the two of them, my last questions. One, on the issue of public participation, and I'm putting this question particularly to you because you are an advocate. It has been a problem in all the spheres. Our current constitution demands that for anything to be done, including the projects, there has to be public participation. With the situation whereby people go to court on the issue of public participation only, and the statutes or the regulations or the proposed amendment falls on lack of public participation. You as an advocate and probably getting the chance to join the board, what is it that you think you will enhance in that element so that all what we pass, while all what the communities want to pass, cannot be challenged on the issue of public participation? Two, which is a question also based on your expertise and experience as an advocate. I believe you've looked at the Act, read it before you came here, or some interest. Once you got the nomination, then you looked at the Act keenly. I'm not an advocate myself. So I want to borrow your expertise on this. What is it, having gone through the Act, that you think you could offer suggestions on either improvement, deletion, to make it better, given that the vision is there and the Act is there? But for you now, with your expertise, having looked at the Act, are there any areas you would suggest for improvement, or you think the Act is perfect? Thank you, Chair.
For public participation, I believe identifying stakeholders and having stakeholder engagements with them actually helps build a consensus around amendments and where you want the bills and the acts to go. So if you have the people who are actually going to be benefiting, or they're going to be implementing these acts, they're opinions and their role is actually very important. Stakeholder engagement, public participation could be as simple as translating it to Swahili so that a common Mwananchi would be able to understand, or even going to the extent of actually even doing it in the mother tongue if it's for a specific area. The Act itself, by how the board is implemented and the implementation of the fund, this grassroots involvement is actually very important and key, because it actually trickles up. And so if you're already involving them in implementation of the projects and what their needs are, why not also engage them in any other changes that you need to undertake or what you're thinking? Because actually they could actually tell you, this does not work for us, but this would work best for us because they're the ones on the ground and they understand that. So public participation is very important, and therefore it's also important to actually sometimes pause and reflect on it and have a chance for having several views instead of, because you could actually end up doing something, then someone tells you, oh, you should have done this, then you end up just having to make a very slight amendment to what you had actually proposed. But it's very important. But depending, the courts are normally independent, so you can be able to save a bit. You don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. You can be able to save a bit of the beneficial act while stating that the bit which was not participated on is actually undertaken through that. So depending on the thinking of the independent bench. So for suggestions on going forward, when I was going through the Act, there was a lot more that could be done. With the challenges of litigation, I have a lot has been redacted from and deleted from the Act, and therefore there was a provision for having the PWDs within the committees, having a member and also the boards and everything. I would propose for that to actually be implemented to the grassroots, and also the reporting structures. Honorable member actually indicated that there's actually some issues with the whole reporting structures. If you could have a bit firmer and tightened reporting structures within the audits, and not just waiting for the Auditor General to just come and actually point out what is wrong.
Let's just end it at that, because I don't seem to have benefited from what he mentioned in public participation, that probably would have done it in our mother tongue. Manake, my question answers don't seem to be rhyming, and I don't know her mother tongue. Maybe, Clive, you can assist.
That's unfair.
All right, Chair.
That's an unfair comment. You need to withdraw. Yes. Clive?
When did the fund start?
2003, 2004.
What is the current act? Which one is in use?
2015, as last amended in 2023.
Which one is in court?
2015.
There is the issue of you've heard about this discussion about bursary. This discussion has been out there, that we need to take what is given by CDF bursary, the ministry bursaries, the Office of the President bursaries, all those bursaries to be put together and run by the ministry to move us towards achieving the free basic education. What's your take on that?
I think every fund has its own focus, because for the NG-CDF actually looks at the vulnerable groups, single mothers, the ones who are orphaned. So I think the NG-CDF actually has its own role, which is very important, and because it actually looks at a specific group of people who are vulnerable.
My question is, at the end of the day, the goal is trying to, all bursaries actually, I think, target the vulnerable, irrespective of from which office they originate. The discussion has been that there are too many, pockets of these bursaries, and these are discussion, I'm sure, being from the legal fraternity you've had, where people are saying that instead of having every addressing the same issue, because bursaries just address the same issue, the vulnerables and less fortunate in the society, given a chance to give your opinion, are you okay in the amalgamating of all these, and then they are put in the Ministry of Education, instead of having CDF having its own bursary, the ministry having its own bursary, the Office of the President having its own bursary, the presidential bursary?
I think every bursary has, because there's someone who will be able to benefit from the CDF and the other one will not be able to benefit from the ministry. So every Kenyan who's in need of this bursary would be able to get to the different funds that they're able to apply, because the allocation is limited. And therefore, this fund can be able to only cater to a specific number of people. And the ministry would be able to identify a different batch of people who would the NG-CDF would not be able to identify. And therefore, I think Kenyans would still be able to benefit from all these funds in the one way or another, how they are able to interact with the system.
Any other? I think as we close, one, of course, you know the Act number because you are a lawyer. CDF is anchored under which Act?
National Government Constituency Development Fund Act.
Number?
441. Cap 441.
You are close, 414. Okay. Mix
Thank
of
you, Chair.
numbers. Okay. Secondly is you have given your view on management of the CDF. Have you ever witnessed or participated in a public participation in identification of projects in the various constituencies, possibly where you are?
Unfortunately, I have not.
You have not?
Yes.
Good. So that's, but possibly you'll need to know the experience later, if at all we gave you the job. Finally, you have mentioned that you'd like to have people living with disability implemented, meaning you have not read the Act. The Act provides one person within the board to be a person living with disability, and also in the CDFCs, in the constituencies, and all is fully implemented as of now. So you have not read the Act. I hope if we give you the job, you will go and read it better, being a lawyer. you should not have made that omission, and making a very strong statement on the same. You know, you make a statement which is stronger than what the Act is saying.
Chair, if I may be able to briefly respond. I meant the project's accessibility for PWDs.
Project, but we do the same. We already, all classes, even if it is a story, there is provisions, and there is no project which will ever be done now without provision. So
yes, Chair. But like, for example, police stations having the cells be, okay. So I take it under advisement. I had actually...
Those who don't have those structures are illegally occupying the premises. As of now, it's illegal not to have a provision for people living with disability.
Much obliged.
Yes. So finally is, I'm happy that you understand also the fact that the marginalized community are being addressed by the Ng-Cdf. And of course, we need to, you are aware that there was a session of paper which discriminated on Kenyans. Do you still remember the session of paper?
Session of paper number 10.
Of which year?
1965.
Yes. Thank you. So, CDF, do you think it has now addressed that inequality?
And they're making a very good headway around. But they are making good headway because they are reaching the grassroots which have not been able to be reached in all the 1450 wards. They're actually able to penetrate and actually serve Kenyans within that. So it's actually commendable.
Okay, now.
Thank you, Chair. Even some constituencies have 3 wards. Others have as many as 8 wards. What do you think should be the formula of allocation in this fund to ensure equity?
So the current formula actually administers 70%, 3/4 of the fund to each and every constituency, which are the 290 constituencies, and then a quarter of that fund is actually disbursed to each and every ward, to each and every constituency, depending on the number of wards that they have. So if you have 3 wards, you'll only get the allocation of the 3 wards. If the more wards you have, the more the allocation you get. And that is the formula that is currently in use. This was a very recent amendment, and I think when it was discussed with the Kenyan public for it to be included, that formula actually had the best, it's what every constituency would benefit from, because the more constituencies you have, the more resources you would need.
Thank you for that answer. And indeed, that is the current formula. But I was seeking to know your stand on equity and fairness in that formula.
Okay. Members, thank you. And she's answering now. Okay.
There's a difference between equity, because if you have the IEBC Act actually did the survey, and they're the ones who demarcated these areas, and that's why previously we had the issue of 1 man, 1 mile, and a lot of debates around that. So the implementation of the fund has actually made an attempt in enforcing this on the Act level.
Done? Okay. Finally is if you have anything to share with this committee, your requests or what you think you would like this, what you think you can give us the future, or your closing remarks anyway, that is.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, honorable members, for this opportunity. I am presenting myself to be a board member of 10 years practice. We'll use this expertise and the collective experience that I've had within my legal practice, where I've worked with the children in conflict with the law, vulnerable communities, to be able to, I would like to consolidate all that knowledge to be able to actually serve Kenyans in this capacity. I pray for you to consider my...
Thank you, and we can return your documents, and you'll be in of the outcome of this vetting process. Welcome again.
Thank you, Chair.
Sergeant at Arms, and also confirm whether we have picked one of your documents. Okay. Thank you. You can do the last one. We finished lunch even if we had to break, but there's a problem.
I support we finish all of them.
12:30 now. Can we call the next? You want to go for a break?
Chairman.
Huh?
It depends with our... Lakini chairman.
To order also. Yeah. I think we want you to introduce yourself and provide us with your ID and your original documents. Introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Fidelis Kieti Mutua. I come from Machakos County, Kadiani constituency. Kadiani constituency.
Oh, Kadiani.
Mitaboni ward. Yes, I'm experienced. I hold a Bachelor of Commerce, specialist in accounting. I've ordered CPAK.
No, we just wanted your name.
My name, okay.
Only. And then you provide us with your original documents.
Okay.
And the first one is the ID, to know whether you are the one.
Okay.
The two. That is, possibly it is a... Fidelis Kieti Mutua.
Yes.
And also you have an ID for people living with disability.
Okay.
And did you identify yourself during the initial process as a person living with disability?
Okay, my name is Fidelis Kieti Mutua.
No.
Okay.
When you started the process with Public Service Commission?
Yes, yes, I did that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. We want to introduce ourselves first so that you know. Can we introduce ourselves? Yula?
Oh, thank you, Chair. I am Joseph Oyula, Member of Parliament for Butula and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Gisai Rombane, Member of Parliament Kitutu Masaba, and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Abichi Zelachi, Member of Parliament Dagoretti North, and a member of this committee.
Good afternoon, team. Engineer Kasim Sawatandaza, Member of Parliament Matuga, and Vice Chairman of the committee.
Honorable Musa Sirma, MP Eldama Ravin, and Chair of the committee. So, what you'll speak to us and what you have presented to us, you'll speak under oath, and you confirm you have presented your documents under oath that they are genuine documents. Okay? So we expect you to take an oath of the same.
I, Fidelis Kieti Mutua, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matters under its consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you. Thank you for, you have done the oath. We now want you to formally introduce yourself, stating your educational background, family background, and also experience and where you have worked, and also how you went to school. Where did you start and where did you end? And also the current engagement. And you can also confirm that what the compliance certificates you have come with are authentic. So proceed. Just.
Honorable Chairperson and members of the Select Committee, good afternoon. My name is Fidelis Kieti Mutua. I come from Kadian Constituency, that is Machakos County. My qualification, I hold a Bachelor of Commerce, accounting option, also CPA qualification. My experience, currently I'm working at Safaricom Customer Care, the Department of Consumer. where we deal with the troubleshooting of issue concerning the networks and outlooks also. We also try to, okay. Well, whereby we work at Safaricom. Currently I'm working at Safaricom, Department of the Consumer, Fixed Data, dealing with the operation in terms of networking. We also deal with the issue concerning the outages. We also report the issue concerning outage in particular areas. Any breakdown in a certain node, that's how we report. And then we engage our engineers maybe to come on that. We also engage our engineers so they can be able to raise a certain ticket. We send our technician to go and see what the issue is. We also do, I've also done what you call the shadowing, what you call the rotation. Whereby you are rotated based on your qualification. Whereby you are moved to a certain department based on your qualification. You are moved to either from a department of the consumer to the department of finance based on your qualification. That's what I've been doing currently. Previously, I worked at Catholic Diocese Kitty, procurement assistant officer. Whereby we are able to come up with what we call the procurement manual, and also dealing with the issue concerning contract management, procurement issue within the Catholic Diocese of Kitty. This program was funded by the WFP in partnership with USAID. We're also dealing with the issue concerning logistics, whereby we are able to supply certain relief food within the larger parts of Kitui. I was the one who was coordinating that, make sure that the food is delivered to the specific needy students and also specific needy people within the larger counts of Kitui. I was also informed maybe in terms of what we call the monitoring and evaluation. You could be able to monitor most of the food also it reached the specific areas, whether the people who are given the food are the needy people. That is what we are able to do on that from our side. Okay. Yes.
Okay. You've not given us your educational background.
Oh, my educational background, I studied at, I did my degree at KCA University. I did Bachelor of Commerce, Accounting option, and also I did a CPAK. Formerly it was called the KCA Accountancy, College of Accountancy, what we did within the areas of Kitui called the Kenya Professional Institute. That's where we did my CPAK. Then my my secondary education, I studied at Machakos School. I finished the year 1999. I got a mini grade of B-. My primary education.
Just go direct on the mic, please. It's not being captured well.
Okay. My primary education, it was Mitaboni Primary School.
Still move this way. Move the mic. Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Mitaboni Primary School. Where I studied, I attained a KCPE. Mitaboni Primary School, I attained a KCPE. I got a mini grade of A-. That was the year 1995. Yes, that's my short background in terms of education. Mitaboni Primary School, KCPE, got an A-.
Thank you. Now, could you possibly link us between your professional qualifications to the job you are looking for as a director of Ng-Cdf board? And given that you are a full-time employee now in Safaricom, okay, and this is not a full-time employment, yeah, how are you going to have the two working together? And also, what do you think you can add to the, or what value you want to add to the board? Yes.
Yes, based on that, because I'm personally living with a disability. During my years, I was diagnosed with cancer. I was amputated my left leg. That was when I was in Form 3, 1997. So from that, it has shaped me to be determined to achieve my dreams and also be able maybe to assist others.
Can he speak up? We're not getting.
Yes, because that's why I'm telling him to be straight on the mic. Okay. You are bending. Yes, straight on the mic and add.
Okay. During my years, I suffered of sarcoma cancer of bone. I was updated my left leg. That was 1997 while in Form 3. That one has shaped my determination for me maybe to achieve my dreams. Based on this, I'll be able to add to ensure that people living with disability, they are factored in. I'll be able to deal with the, what we call the, not the theoretical factor, but the action, the key action that I can be able to determine the people living with disability, they will be able to get the services based on the Article 54 of the Constitution. Also, I'll be able to complete on the, what we call the accountability. I'll be able, and oversight, that will be able to measure on, and also more so on the evaluation. And also I'll be able to make sure the issue concerning the Procurement Disposal Act 2015, that is around, is fully followed. I'd also make sure the Public Finance Act, that one is really followed, is fully followed. Based on that, that's going to be about my major key areas. Because I have experience in procurement, I also have experience in accounting. I'll be able to measure on that, make sure the law is fully followed. And also the value of procurement based on the equity, effectiveness, and competitive, and the value for money is fully followed. Also based on the tendering, I make sure maybe the issue concerning the tendering is also fully followed. We come up with the issue concerning the open tendering. We need to follow the article based on the Constitution to ensure that there is no open tendering. That is those areas that are services that are beyond 10 million, they must be open tendering. This one, services that are below, between that 100 to 5 million, they have maybe to request for quotation. Those are the key things that we'll be able to be looking at. Make sure all the procurement laws are fully followed. So these are the key things that we'll be able to measure on when I'm selected as the board member. Thank you.
From my side is now, having worked in a multi-billion,
yes,
or having working with a multi-billion company called Safaricom.
Yes.
What have you achieved as in the community, which can make you or desire to work even more? Because this is a community-based. You need to work with the public. This is an institution which works directly with the public. What experience do you have?
We have at Safaricom. We have the Safaricom Foundation that deal with the vulnerable children and also the services to the most of the school. At Safaricom, we are able maybe to come up with based on our team. We are told to come up with a certain budget. You select a certain school that will be able to be sponsored in terms of ICT. And also a certain class that are not fully equipped, they are able maybe to keep on those classes. So we have that experience on that, based on that also. So once I selected, we can be able to present some of those schools that need the ICT, and also that those classes are not well equipped. We can be able to present them a certain budget, so they can be able to partner with us to sponsor those kind of schools.
Members, Vice Chair.
Yeah. Before I ask my questions,
yes,
I have two questions based on what from the questionnaire which you filled.
Okay.
You got your CPAK 2014. That means for over 10 years you've been a qualified accountant, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Why is it that you are so proud of saying, I'm not a member of any professional association? I find this very strange.
Yeah, that one is not strange, because you know, person within this disability, there are certain challenges that they face maybe in most of those employment areas. Also, for you maybe to move from one department where you are based on your specialization, it takes time. Because I'm on the queue maybe to be moved to a certain area. And being a member, you must have an experience of 3 years. That is the key area. So that one I'm working on, because I'm still on my...
You have over 12 years, isn't it?
Yes, since I attained, yes.
Yeah, so why have you not been a member of ISPAC and other organization?
One is what we call the financial constraint. Other things I've told is about the experience. They need a person who has an experience over 3 years, just so that you can be able to become an associate member. Yes, that is what I'm looking at. I'm working on. At the end of the month, I will be able to be qualified to be a member. Okay.
Based on what you provided,
Yes.
You've been with Safaricom for over 10 years now.
Yes, since 2016.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm surprised that when it came to question 25, statement of your net worth,
Yes.
you have 300 Kenya shillings in cash, and is it an error or ni 300 tu?
That one is 300 shillings.
300 tu?
Yes, yes.
I don't know whether this question will be fair, Chairman. I stand to be guided.
Okay.
What is the, do I say what is the problem? Because now you are going to be a director of our board.
Okay.
And if you are proud to say you had 300, this was not even enough to take you home. What is happening? And you are working for Safaricom. I've done your calculation. Your salary is over 100,000 per month. To be specific, it's about 170,000 from your quick calculations here. How
Based
come?
on, there are so many
Simply confirm if you are using M-Pesa, which is excluding this. Possibly you have money in your M-Pesa.
Yes, I have money in my M-Pesa. Yes, I have money in my M-Pesa.
So it is not the 300.
That one is on the
You
bank.
are talking about the cash.
In the bank.
No, in the bank.
This question does not refer. It says your cash, cash, bank balances, cash equivalents. That's what I think this question is talking about. Otherwise now, because with 300, I think you are even having penalties. It's the bank charges. And you are an accountant of all people. Those are the issues that I was looking at your questionnaire, and I thought they were a bit alarming. And I thought you would tell us how come your savings are very low, having worked for over 10 years. You know, SACCO deposits 140 for over 10 years. So you are saving like 1,000 every month or even less. SACCO. And then you have 2 motorbikes. You do boda business, which boda at least brings 500 per month. I also do it. Normally it's 500 per day, so it's 1,000 if you have 2. Hii business yako bwana.
It's 300 per day.
Yeah.
You know, based on that,
yeah.
I have other children that I'm supporting.
Other?
I am also supporting my younger brothers and also my sisters. Yes, because most of the money, because every month I get a certain amount of money, I'll be able maybe to budget based on the school fees, who are to pay to the colleges.
Are you still aware you are under oath?
Yes, yes.
You are?
Yes.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah.
Chair, the nominee seems to be very economical with the truth. Or I don't know. I don't know whether you do understand that you are being interviewed to be a board member of an organization that deals with money. It's actually just about funds. That is why it's called the Ng-Cdf, National Government Constituency Development Fund. So when it comes to money matters, we are supposed to be honest and truthful. Yes. And you need to tell us the truth. If it is about net worth, let us know what you are worth, because that will also form the basis of us discussing whether you are qualified to be given the position. But when you try to belittle yourself, you are not a member of ISPAC or whichever, and you are saying it is due to financial constraints, then you are trying to disqualify yourself from this position that we are offering here today. So kindly just tell us the truth about yourself. And you know, even by talking, you are not coming out as somebody who wants this position. Just talk with vigor. Talk as somebody who wants to become a director in an Ng-Cdf board, which takes care of 290 constituencies in Kenya. Thank you.
With a budget of 60 billion per annum on average.
Yes. So my current worth is, based on what I've said there, is around 6 million. That is what I'm worth. Based on that, without the deduction, based on the lands, yes.
Are you revising it? Because from your document it's 4.6.
That is after the deduction, deduction of the loans.
Oh, he did a balance sheet. Okay, he's an account. Yeah, I was just getting questions from his questionnaire. I'm yet to ask my questions, but as usual, I want to pass to my colleagues, given that I'm on the high table, to have a go first.
So thank you, Chair, and welcome, Mtwa. Mine, let me not go to your WorthNet and why you have 300 in your account. It can happen. But then I just want to understand you. Having coming from Kathiani constituency.
Yes.
And definitely now that you help your siblings, it means you are very well versed in what happens in Kathiani and what happens at the Ng-Cdf constituency office. And I definitely believe that your siblings must have gone either to the constituency office for help. What is your take in terms of understanding what people talk about Ng-Cdf in Kathiani? You can illustrate, you can explain. And number two, have you ever benefited as a person? And number three, now that you are also a person with special needs, how do they normally treat people who are of special needs within Kathiani or within a constituency where you live? Because you might be from Kathiani, but at the moment maybe you are living in a different constituency.
Thank you for that. To answer the last question, we people living with disability, we are somehow looked upon. It's sad maybe to achieve anything if you have a disability. That is the key thing that will be able. They just look at you as a liability to them, and that is the key that they look at. Based on the beneficial, I have not yet benefited from any CDF program in terms of bursaries. Yes.
Last question.
Yes.
Answered me. Yes.
Beatrice.
The last question.
The first question now. Go back to your first question where I said you can tell us what do people talk about this fund back home, either in your constituency in Kathiani or in a constituency that you live in now. What do citizens say about it?
Okay, based on that, most of the people, they think the national government CDF is about the fund that belongs to MPs. So most of these funds, they are given by the MPs. So that is the attack, what they think about it. But in the real sense, this is a fund that is governed by a certain act, by the act of the law. It's not given by the work of the MPA is just to provide leadership and oversight. But what people think about within those areas, they think this is a fund for the MPs. Without have a closer look at the MP, you cannot be able to get such a bursary, you can't be able to get a benefit from the national government CDF. Okay.
That is Kathiani?
Yes, that's okay. Kathiani.
Thank you, Chair. Fidelis, when did the fund start?
Okay, formerly it was called the CDF. It started on 2003.
And
then
we are currently in which act?
Currently we are on 2015 Act. It has been amended to 2023 Act. Amendment that has been done regarding issue concerning the oversight and of the public participation. 2022, it was amended regarding the sharing of the resources. One by they put that 75% to be shared equally, 25% to be shared based on the ward.
Thank you. In your CV,
yes,
your current role at Safaricom Limited,
yes,
is Enterprise Business Unit, EBU,
yes,
Fixed Data Support.
okay,
The letter from your employer,
yes,
Safaricom, signed by the HR,
yes,
this is to confirm that the above named is a bona fide employee of Safaricom PLC, having joined us in 1st August 2016.
okay,
He is currently a customer experience executive with the Care Center Department.
okay.
Now, that description by your HR
Yes,
appears on your CV as
Yeah.
having been served between 2016 and 2024.
okay.
So what are you at Safaricom?
You know, at Safaricom, we have what we call the customer care department. It has different departments based on the EBU, the enterprise unit. We deal with about the fixed data, and also we have the customer care, whereby we receive the issue concerning the SIM card and M-Pesa issue. So you are moved from one area based on your experience and based on your qualification. So currently, I've been moved from those areas of whereby you can be able to receive certain calls, answering questions regarding the customer's issue, to area whereby you can be able to receive issue through the via emails. So currently, I'm working through those areas of emails. Whereby we receive issue via emails, and then we respond to the customers.
Yeah, because I'm wondering whether the HR is getting the description wrong and you're having a different description, because in your appointment letter, what does it state? Does it state Enterprise Business Unit or Customer Experience Executive?
Customer Experience Executive.
What is the structure of CDF from
no.
national level all the way to the grassroots?
The structure, okay. It starts from the cabinet secretary, that from the treasury part of it. And then after cabinet, then we come to the national government CDF board. Then you have the national government, CDF constituency level. Then you have what called the PMC, the public committee management. They will be able to manage the public committee. The work is to manage those projects within the constituencies. Now the work of this cabinet secretary is one who follows it. Based on once the funds are received from the treasury, it comes to the planning ministry. Then it will back to the constituency level, then to the PMC account. That is the very structure of the national government's India fund.
That's for me, Chair, but we'll ask our client to be more audible. I am not really, we are missing a lot of his responses because of the...
I can repeat on that.
Just be confident.
Okay, okay.
We are very friendly. I can confirm.
Proceed and answer the question.
Okay.
Let me repeat. It's captured on
you wanted the structure?
Unanswered.
Okay, I can be able to start from the CDF started on the 2003. Then it was enacted after the promulgation of the Constitution in 2020. It was changed to the National Government CDF Act 2015. Then 2022
confirm the promulgation of the Constitution
was done in 2010.
Yes, correct.
Then it was acted. It's under Article 206 of the Constitution. That is the CDF Act. Okay. 2022, there was amendment regarding the sharing of the resources. I've talked about the 75%, that is 3/4 of the national government. Government will be able to give around 2.5%. Then from the 2.5%, they will be able to share this 2.5% with the constituency equally. 75% is shared equally to 290 constituencies. Then the remaining 25% will be able to be shared based on the wards, and also what we call the index, the poverty index. It's the gaps within the constitution, gaps in terms of education, gaps inside of health. Those are the key areas that they'll be able to look at, and then they'll be able to give us the 25% based on that. Then it was also amended in 2023, issue concerning the oversight, concerning the public participation. So that is what is amended. Currently, we are working on Article 2023 Act.
Okay, Chair.
Oyula.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Mutua,
yes.
You are an accountant by profession.
Okay, yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
You applied for and you are nominated
yes.
as to be a member of the board
yes.
of the Ng-Cdf.
Yes.
Now, in which case you are going to be one of the directors of the Ng-Cdf.
Yes.
What is the role of the board in an organization?
Okay, thank you, sir, for that. The role of the board, one, is what we call the asset. They administer the assets.
Speak up, please, so that
okay.
everybody hears what you are saying.
The role of the national government CDF board is their first role is sort of they look at the proposals from the constituencies, and then they approve based on the need. And also another work of the board is to disperse funds to the constituency in timely manner. Another work is what we call the policy directions. They give out the policy direction based on that. And also they make sure the funds are fully utilized in a manner that is accountable and is transparency in the management of the fund also. They have another role they have is what we call the asset and the administration of the assets within the national government CDF board.
Mr. Mutua, you are talking to yourself, so it's very difficult even for the chairman to get what you are saying. Anyhow, okay. Let me ask you another question. As an accountant, and I believe you know this.
Yes.
Modern governance.
Yes.
Increasingly relies on accurate data and digital transformation.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yes.
Now, I want you to tell us, for planning, monitoring, accountability, and efficiency in public,
yes.
What advice would you give the public or the staff in the Ng-Cdf to improve on the governance?
Okay, thank you for that. First of all, as an accountant, I'll be able to make sure what to call the international public sector accounting standard is fully followed. And also I'll be able to make sure that what you call the documentation, the key word is the documentation and the approvals. Most of the procurement must be able, to follow certain approval, follow the approval from different departments. And also we make sure that there is what we call a separation of duties. You cannot be able to approve, you cannot be able to apply and then approve for yourself. Those are the key things that we'll be able to look at.
So, Mr. Mutua, as a Kenyan or as somebody coming from Kathiani, you must have seen some good work or some work done by the Ng-Cdf in terms of maybe schools infrastructure,
yes,
security apparatus, and maybe the beneficiaries of bursary.
Okay.
As a board member, where would you want the board or the fund to improve? In which areas would you want the board to improve on, and what is it that you'd want them to do differently as a member of the board? Thank you.
Okay, as a member of the board, the key thing is there's no accountability within most of the funds that you find you are given a certain funds to work on a certain most of the classes that are built within Zuka, they are substandard. They are substandard. So that's why the key thing they need maybe to monitor and evaluate on that. That is the key thing that will be able to emphasize on that.
So are you trying to say that from the buildings that you have seen done by Ng-Cdf, the quality of work has not been good or satisfactory?
It's some of the buildings.
So are you talking about the ones in Kathiani or the ones you've seen done by Ng-Cdf even in other areas?
In other areas, not within, the other I've seen within certain areas. There are certain areas that the building is not up to the standard.
So you are talking about quality assurance, something like that?
Yes. And also we also maybe to look at also the issue concerning the PW issue. They need also to look at the design. They don't have those people living with disability. That's the key thing they need maybe to look at.
Haven't you seen any building without done by CDF without which is missing on a ramp or taking care of people living with disability?
Yeah, there are several buildings that I've already seen.
Several?
Yes.
Wow. Anyway, since you work with Safaricom and you deal with projects, have you ever done buildings in Safaricom? Because I've seen Safaricom doing in other areas, but you told us you are supplying food and all that. I don't know whether that is the case.
Okay. Safaricom, they have the Safaricom Foundation.
Yes.
They deal with the ICT labs within schools, and also building classes, and also supplying furniture to those classes.
So, but those buildings you take care of people living with disabilities?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And I want to confirm you, majority of the projects in CDF, all of them, as we speak now, are all provided with facilities to go into those buildings and taking care of people living with disabilities. Okay. I can confirm to you.
May I have
Vice
only
Chair.
one question?
Yes.
For Mr. Mutua. Your profession is an accountant.
Yes.
But from what you have provided as Safaricom,
yes,
has nothing to do with accounting. Am I right?
Yes.
So how is it? Because my other question would have been, with your experience in accounting,
yes,
versus our fund, which is dealing with money,
okay,
what would be your way forward? What would be the areas that we can improve on the side of accounting? But it seems apart from the qualification, you don't have any experience, because if for 12 years you've been a Safaricom, an accountant, but not dealing in anything accounts, then this also an area where you might not be able to help the board much professionally from your profession.
You know, I have the qualification. Based on the qualification, we can be able to brief on that, because I have the qualification. Based on that, I can be able to work on that.
You've not practiced?
Yes, I was practicing while working within a Kabak Diocese of Kitui. But when it came to Safaricom, what we call the job rotation, we are just rotated within the areas of specialization. in accounting.
Because I've known accountants to make a lot of money. Like now you will be having like a small office doing, like now the financial year is ending. My accounts for my private company have not yet been done. I would expect you to be hustling along that area so that you gain some profession. But you are saying you are not practicing. Thank you, Chairman.
Your last remarks. We want you to tell us what do you want us to do, and possibly give us or share what you think you want to share to this committee.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'll be able maybe to work on the issue concerning the accountability and also the transparency, and also issue concerning the monitoring and evaluations of those projects that has been done. I will be able to measure on that. We also be able to rely on the procurement law to make sure they are fully followed. Okay, that given that chance, I will be able to monitor on that also. Also, I'll be able maybe to present the people with disability, because they are, I have been there. I know the challenge that they face on the education, challenge that they face in the employment, regarding maybe the promotion. I'll be able maybe to work with my team, maybe to see how best they can be able to assist on that also. Well, I will give them that chance, please. So kindly, I can't urge you maybe to approve myself or the alone. Okay, thank you.
Excuse Chair. Yes. How will Mr. Mutua be able to handle matters relating to accountability and so forth when he has no practical experience?
Mutua?
You know, I have the qualification. So based on my qualification, I've done a lot of studies, most of the project within. I may not have the experience, but I have learned a lot based on the learning through different organizations, how they handle their project, how they handle their accounts. So based on that experience, I can be able to do that. You know, personally, within disability, it's hard maybe to get a certain promotion, maybe to move from it's hard maybe to move from that, but you are not saying that. Based on that, I can be able to improve on that, given the chance. And also, I will be able to work within the structures, within the national government, CDF. Then I work with the people with the experience that can be able to guide me on that. Based on the guidance that they get, because I have the knowledge, they guide me, I will be able to work with them well and also account for that.
Now, finally, given that you are dealing with you are working in a very big profit-making company, yes. How will you handle the two? Because this is a part-time job, okay, and the other one is a full-time. Are you able to, you know, you will not be able to compromise your, because the other one is a private institution. Okay. This is a government institution where you may lose a lot of time.
Okay, because at Safaricom we work in terms of shift. So you are given a shift within 30 days, so you can be able to plan within yourself. You can be able to swap certain shift with a different person based on the time that you're working at the national government CDF. So you'll be able to plan on that, and also be able to give a consideration on the public interest. That will be able my keyword maybe to work on. So based on those area, those particular days that I'll be able to be working on this area, I will be able maybe to swap, and also be able to be on it on that particular date once I'm called. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. You may hand over his documents. We shall sit and you will be informed of the outcome of this vetting process. Thank you. Wish you well.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, members, our last candidate is around. If we can possibly still extend the strength you have. I don't know whether you still have tea for them to kuongeza nguvu ya mwisho. Ilikuwa? Sasa ilikuwaje? Mule tumaliza namna hiyo. What has happened? Now, I want us to introduce ourselves so that before I allow you to introduce yourself and proceed, let's start. Yula.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Joseph Oyula, Member of Parliament for Butula and a member of this committee.
Thank you, Chair. Mohamed Sud Machele, Member of Parliament in Vita Constituency and member of Ng-Cdf committee.
Gisai Rombane, Member of Parliament Kitutu Masaba and a member of this committee.
Which is Elachi, Member of Parliament of Great North and a member.
Walter Winu, MP Awendo, and a member of this committee.
Mary Mainge, Member of Parliament for Moya Constituency, and a member of this committee.
Jini Akasim Sawa Tandaza, Member of Parliament Matuga and Vice Chairman of the committee.
Honorable Musa Sirma, MP Eldama Ravin and Chair of the committee. Staff.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Chair. My name is Abdelaziz Shobe. I'm clerk to this committee.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Penina Simran, Legal Counsel to the committee.
Good afternoon, Chair. Isabella Mwembi, Clerk Assistant.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair and members. My name is Mohamed Chilo. I'm a research assistant.
Good afternoon. My name is Edith Shepngeno, Media Relations Officer.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Benjamin Ochuthi, Hansard Officer.
Now, the legal counsel, please, you will be under oath in all what you have provided will be checked, and if it is not correct, you'll be punished for that, but you will be under oath in all what you say, and therefore take note of that. Just 1 minute, you'll be given the mic. Yes.
I, Maurice Potita Kaka, do swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee on the matters under its consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Okay. Ole Kaga. Compose yourself, ready for questions, and answer them truthfully. And we now start. The first is you introduce yourself, academic background, also your family background, whether you are married or not, also your work experience and where you are working, and any other engagements. Of course, what we have as documents is part of what the compliance are. and I hope you have submitted all your compliance certificates with us here on this bundle you have given us. So I want to ask you to proceed.
Thank you, Chair. As I had mentioned, Maurice Kaka Potita is my name. My educational background, currently I'm undertaking a PhD in strategic management. I have a master's in corporate management from KCA University. I have a Bachelor of Commerce in finance. I have a diploma in entrepreneurship. I have a diploma also in diploma in financial management. I have had training in finance and accounting. I've done KATC. I then proceeded to full completion of CPA. A host of other trainings, Kenya School of Government, trainings in finance, trainings in audit, and trainings in budgeting, both local and international. Family-wise, I'm married with one wife and 6 children, a son and 5 daughters. Work experience. Currently, I serve as a trustee and a board chairman of Kipeto Development Trust, an organization that was formed by Kipeto PLC. Kipeto is an energy generation company using wind energy, and a trust was formed as a vehicle where community benefits will be transferred and managed at that particular level. So that is where I serve currently, of course on part-time, and also as part of our community as I'm also a member of that community. Previously, I served the county government of Kajiado as a chief officer for water. That was my last assignment in the county government of Kajiado. I also served in county treasury as a chief officer of finance and economic planning. I served 2 governors at the advent of devolution, up to the 2nd governor, where I served and left in the 3rd year. Before devolution, I also served as in the former local authorities, where I served as treasurer, an acting treasurer. I also served in the revenue department, in the accounts department, and I think my entry level was a revenue clerk, and I grew through the system to that level of the county treasurer, which after devolution was abolished. I have also served in other capacities. I have served in the cooperative sector, where I was elected as a treasurer, chairman of a society, and finally what they used to call delegates in the former Kajiado district, representing Kajiado in the Cooperative Bank of Kenya, where they used to have delegates. I've also served as a board chair of, board member of several schools, and that is basically my experience. But more importantly, I serve in the board of the Department of Public Works and Housing, State Department for Public Works and Housing, as a task force member. from 2023, where I was appointed as a task force member in that particular board. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for the introduction. Secondly is from your professional qualifications, which is accounting, and it is this is a fund which has a lot of money. What do you think on your experience in the counties where you have worked in, and the National Government Constituency Development Fund, and possibly the problem between the Ng-Cdf and the county governments who have taken it to court, whether it will compromise, you may compromise the board to agree with the county in dissolution of the Ng-Cdf, because it is conflict of interest, and the people of Ng-Cdf are so much worried about county people.
Thank you, Chair. Of course, I want to make an assurance to this committee that my previous role as an officer of the county will not compromise if given a chance to be one of the officers of the fund. But I have experiences in managing resources previously, and I look at Ng-Cdf, look at the county where I served as a deliberate effort and wisdom from the leadership of our country to take resources to the lower level. In my earlier days, I benefited in working with a program that used to be called LATIF, Local Authority Transfer Fund. In those old days, there are no legislation, there are no policies, there are no procedures, but there was a need, there was a thinking that resources should go to the lower level. I benefited by being among officers trained by the former local government reforms program, and the resources then that were deployed to local authorities, despite the many challenges, were actually able to make impact in the lives of people. That was just an example. In county governments, when county governments came, there was hope, and there was hope that a number of these challenges will be sorted out when county governments came in place with the resources that were being deployed. If you talk about billions of shillings coming to counties, of course the public were expectant, and they hoped that life will change. It may have changed, it may not also have changed because of a number of reasons. But these experiences from the former local authorities and the county government, having came in as a chief officer, I oversaw the management of resources, which is critical, through budgeting, through public participation. We used to run an elaborate process of project identifications. Communities came, we used to do according to wards, and communities gave quite a number of projects, either in water, education, and so forth. And we were able to implement through the established processes. Now, to respond to the question on whether there is going to be conflict between my role and the role then, one, I had left the county, I think in the year 2022, but I have a feeling that CDF, by and large, and the data is out there, has been able to make huge and bigger positive impact in the lives of people. If you look at the issue of equity today, a child at the remotest part of our country has the same opportunity of attending a national school or having the benefit of going to school without challenges because of bursary. Facilities, we only used to see first floor, second floor classrooms being built in Nairobi. Today they are available at the grassroots, and that means CDF is transforming lives. And I want to subscribe to the thinking that it has had a positive life on the people. And much as I had to work on the older system or in the county government system, it may not in any way interfere with my judgment. Because maybe the issues to do with variances in opinion on which projects being done by the CDF and the county governments are issues that can be handled through processes in consultation and so forth. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I think also the way I can see is you've been in the local authorities for long, and I think when we talk about LATIF, I was also an assistant minister at that time, and it was riddled with corruption. It was dissolved because of corruption. Now, the county governments are doing it even massively. Don't you think you'll bring the same culture of corruption, which is, because from the chief of treasury is where there is, they were releasing money. Whether legal or illegal, that is the place. And therefore, what will make you be different, given that this is an institution, we are talking about over 60 billion in terms of the amount of money we're going to be dealing with, whether you will be able to manage in terms of having come through those institutions where we have problems with currently in all the areas, riddled with corruption. So I think just...
Thank you, Chair. It is true. Being a chief officer of treasury, you are at the heart of the happenings, the distribution, the sharing of resources. And Chair, I will challenges within the county government and even the former systems, and even mention a little bit about the old systems. There were no policies, there were no laws that guide either allocation, either monitoring. There was even no law or policy that guides public participation. So those in their positions of authority or responsibility, if they decide to go to misbehave, they could, because the challenges of the systems that had no structures then was one of the challenges. Two, in the county government, when the county government system came, there were policies, there were structures that were established. The fact that you were able to, or we were able to involve citizens enhances civilian oversight. Actually, it was not easy to go to a meeting, having promised a project the other year, and you come and repeat the same the following year. It was going to be a challenge. Two, I want to say during my term as a chief officer in Kajiado, we were able, at least in the first term, we were able to do quite many projects. Look at Kitengela Bus Park, Ngong as well, We have Watarongai Market, Kiserian Market, so many water projects, dams, and so forth. So the period I was there, Chair, I can assure you, we did our best, despite the challenges. And one of the challenges then was, among the many challenges, structural, systemic, and a new system, is sometimes even the leadership themselves, because of the new system, used to fight. And I can imagine myself at the center of the operations then, where the governor, the MCAs don't see eye to eye, but at the end of the day, you have to make a budget that has to go to the assembly, be passed by the assembly, assented by the governor, but both parties don't agree. It was a struggle, but we did our best and we tried. And today, for those, and I know this house, understand or know Kajiado well, because it's just one of a bedroom to Nairobi, the projects then were done, and we can proudly say a lot of work was done, some good work was done, and I'm proud of it.
Thank you. Vice Chair?
I'll be very brief on this one. I was looking at your bundle of original documents, and I've noticed that you don't have the original certificate for Form 4. There is an abstract which says that, of course, you lost it, and so there's a police abstract, including your transcripts for PhD. But my other concern is, despite it not being the original, which was stated, it's got lost, and you have an abstract. You actually got a mean grade of C plane, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I stand to be corrected. With the mean grade of C plane, you can actually go do the degree, but you have to undergo a certain process. What I'm seeing here, you have diplomas, but executive diplomas, which I don't think would ordinarily qualify, because with the executive diploma, you don't do an exam. Can you please explain to me your academic journey up to where now you are doing your PhD?
Thank you, Chair. It is true. The original certificate got lost, and we have been trying to follow up through NEC, the quality management systems, until last week when we were told that the transcript for those years in 1996, the system has not yet captured it, but it's always available if verifications need to be done. On the issue of degree, with a C plus, KCA University then, if you had a diploma, and I had a diploma from the entrepreneurship diploma from Desta University, enabled me to enroll for the degree. And even the executive diploma, we went through the normal process. Of course, those are the early days when the KCA University was starting, and they were recognized then, and they were actually part of the documentation that enabled us, or me, to qualify for the degree, that is the BCom Finance, and the BCom, the MBA as well. Thank you.
I stand to be corrected. Yours is a C plane, it's not a C plus. Yeah?
It's a C plane.
Yeah, yours is a C plane. And the degree you undertook was online or physical?
Physical.
Physical.
Yes.
Next. Beatrice.
Thank you, Chair. First, I want to congratulate Ole Kaka.
Thank you.
And coming from Kipeto, it means one day I'll tell you I need a road because I'm part of your community. But having said that, you have said you have served in many schools. And so I'm imagining you have experience on what changes you would wish to champion on the board based on how you have seen the schools in Kajiado and maybe other places, but also in terms of, you come from Kajiado Central or West?
Sorry, Kajiado West.
West. Yes. So I know you have seen how Kajiado West is and the challenges they face. What would be your take as you go to the board? What are those changes you would want to see, and how would you help members of parliament to, as much as we do infrastructure, but to ensure what we do on the ground is something that you yourself and others would wish to see?
Thank you, Chair. Maybe I need to start by appreciating the role CDF is doing on the ground. And not because I'm in this committee, but facts are out there. Life has been changed. When you go to education, infrastructure, bursaries, for us is in the last drought, had it not been because of bursaries, many children would have dropped out of school. So having sat in management of resources and overseeing resource sharing, I would want to see how this fund can remain sustainable, and maybe that just to start thinking of how do we, if today we only receive a percentage of national revenue, is there a way we can be able to start thinking about fundraising for more resources? Because more resources means more interventions, either in the area of water, education, environment, and so forth. That is one. Two, I would wish to see a situation where look at the opportunities presented by technology. How do we incorporate technology in the work we are doing? If we are using bursaries, for example, if we are doing monitoring of projects, for example, there must be an opportunity we can be able to use through technology, incorporating ICT in what we are doing. The other most important point I would have mentioned is how we can empower communities so that they can make informed decisions. We have project management committees at the constituency level, and that system goes up to the villages. So we have quite an elaborate infrastructure on how we can reach and pinpoint challenges within the villages. We may need to, maybe through policy, maybe through training, see how we can develop capacity. For those people who are working with us, we may need to improve on their capacity. And then maybe lastly, is the issue of how do we bring on board issues that were not traditionally being handled by CDF, for example. Maybe we need to ask ourselves, could there be other issues within communities that we can be able to intervene at the CDF level, taking into account that we have an elaborate infrastructure, we have resources that are almost guaranteed despite the challenges. We have a workforce that is well capacitated. So I believe we can be able to look at that and then look at governance within CDF. The persons from the board up to the lowest level, we enhance governance by ensuring that those who are there are responsible for resources and ensure that resources are deployed to alleviate poverty and make the necessary positive changes that we desire as a country. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Morris, you've served in the county for some time, and as the Chair did state that some of the issues bedeviling Ng-Cdf are actually originated from the county. So you must have had close interaction with the Council of Governors. At what point did you have this? You're speaking very highly of Ng-Cdf suddenly. When did this soul to pole moment happen?
Thank you, Chair. I did mention earlier that not because I'm here today, but I see what happens. I see it in our villages, I see it in our constituency, and I see it happening, and the lives are transformed. I may not really want to talk about county governments right now, but if you ask me about the first county governments, there was a lot that was done then. There are issues because, of course, maybe the issues of, it is clear in the Constitution, what is to be implemented by county government and what is being implemented by Ng-Cdf as projects of the national government. So sometimes we see this as maybe activism, because in this country, maybe we like really trying to control everything. So maybe as a governor or as governors, they may want to control everything. And then the second thing also is power. The governor will be happy, or governors will be happy if they are able to give the millions of children that receive bursary under CDF every year. Maybe that is not happening. And they have a host of issues which I may not be able to delve on right now. But I think they are not substantive issues that really need governors to fight CDF because their plate is full. Maybe it is just our culture as a country that we believe if I take away what CDF is doing, maybe it will come to my county and I will have more influence. Because when you talk about power, an MP is seen as a very powerful individual. So what happens when we have the I don't know where to put it, basis of power, the powers around us, sometimes it poses challenge. So it may not be small of system or any justifiable means. I believe sometimes either that activism or politics of sort.
In your response, public office, political activities and affiliations, list chronologically and any public offices you have held or are currently holding, including the terms of service and whether such positions were elected or appointed. You state that as not applicable, but when listening to you, you've just been a public servant all through. Was that an error in your response?
Maybe I looked at it in the context of political office.
No, it's very categorical. Public offices you have held. Public office.
Okay. It is noted.
You served in the county. I think that was in the inaugural, right? County office. We all want, and you come to CDF, which is mainly project-centered. And we pride ourselves as a CDF having doing projects that mainly get completed. And it's our pride that every time you oversee a certain project that starts, it goes to a logical conclusion. Under your tenure, Kajiado Town Library gobbled up 149 million. This is never completed to date. Are you bringing the white elephant manners to Ng-Cdf?
Chair, I want to assure this committee that given an opportunity, I want to do that. It is true, library was constructed. It was actually started during our time by the first governor of Kajiado. It was a huge project. It was a multi-year project. So I think at the time of the second cycle of election for the second term governors, the project was still pending with very little amount of money pending. And when the new government was inaugurated, the second new government was inaugurated, those projects were evaluated. I think they went through to look at the processes, and they were supposed to be picked up and be completed because there was a desire by the people of Kajiado to have a library because there's none across or around Kajiado. Unfortunately, from the position I occupied, I couldn't push. I couldn't, because that is the issue of a higher level issue of governance, and why maybe the government then wouldn't want to carry on with the projects that were started by their predecessors. So, and you may find a number of such projects. Now, given the situation now, the position I am right now, or here, in NCDF, I think it is true. Funds are released and projects are completed, unless if there are other issues that inhibit the completion of project. But by and large, what we always experience is that these projects are completed. I believe here there is proper processes and structures to ensure that a project that was started, whether I'm going to be there or not, has to be taken to the logical conclusion. Whether I remain as the officer who was there or even the member of parliament who was there, it will have to be completed. CDF has such structures. I think where the challenge is in our system at the local level is sometime where maybe leaders has an opportunity to say, I will implement this, and I don't implement this, and it's like nothing can happen. And that's what I mentioned earlier. If we strengthen civilian oversight, maybe these things shouldn't happen, either in the county or elsewhere. So I believe CDF, because of the track record, will be able to see the completion of their projects. And sometimes officers, we may have good intention, professional capacity, and that need to serve your country. But when you are at the middle of system processes and the leadership positions, that sometimes you have to dictate the way things are, because, for example, a budget is prepared. Maybe as an officer, you factor in the resources, but at the time of the cabinet meeting, you are told, no, remove that money because we have another priority.
Chair.
Thank you.
Just to be specific on this one, you are the accounting officer and you are the paymaster. By the time you left that desk, can you confirm to us that the percentage of the amount you paid to that project was equivalent to the percentage of the work done on that project? This is very specific on you. It's you we're interviewing, not the systems.
Thank you. Our structure in Kajiado Treasury was, we budget for resources, but implementation happens at the departmental level. So this was a project that was, I believe, under the Ministry of Education, and therefore I may not have the specifics of how much was paid and what was the balance then, because our role as Treasury was to factor in the resources, and the budget implementation happens at the department. We do not really don't get involved in, because the monitoring, the engineers, and the teams that manage the project are domiciled at the department. So personally, I may not really be able to say I paid this much or this much was pending, because it can only be verified at the departmental level.
How many motor vehicles do you have?
Personal.
Whatever you've listed here.
2 vehicles.
Which makes?
Pardon?
Which makes, because 2 vehicles and the value appearing here is quite interesting.
I have a pickup, KBY, slightly old, and I have a Prado for 2008. Its valuation is way above 1.1 million, and the pickup is around 900. Sorry if I
Thank you, Chair.
Break it down. Thank you.
Next, Mashele.
Mr. Morris, what is your role as a director, board of director of Ng-Cdf?
Thank you, Chair. My role as a director of Ng-Cdf is, 1, to ensure that resources deployed to the fund are properly used. The other role will be ensuring that there is timely disbursement of funds to the constituencies, so that if projects have been taken care of, have been completed, my role is to ensure that as part of the board, will be Maybe they are capacitated, they are able to work so that the best interest of Kenyans are able to be achieved, and get the right infrastructure or tools of trade so that they are able to deliver. Thank you.
What step will you take to ensure transparency and accountability?
Enhancing transparency and accountability takes a number of forms. And one of the means of enhancing transparency is being open, being open in the use of resources. Communicate. Transparency requires communication, giving feedback. I must be able to ensure that we give the correct, the required, and the right information at every given point in time. Maybe the how that can happen. So allow me to ask again. I don't know whether maybe in the process I lost again what I was.
I think the question is almost the same as the one Cairo asked, that how will you ensure that you do not bring the corruption in the county into this? And then Michelle is asking, how will you ensure that there is transparency and accountability in the work you will do?
Good.
It's almost...
Thank you. Well, so maybe I will add the issue of budgeting, to ensure that proper budgeting is done and ensure that the resources allocated go towards the work that was designed to be done. Then the other thing, ensure that citizens are involved. Public participation, we have come to appreciate, plays a critical role in ensuring that there is transparency, because in the old systems where officers or those responsible sit in an office, prepare a budget, allocate resources, is no longer there. You know, there is public participation where people talk, ventilate their issues, and so forth. And then the other most important is the issue of ensuring that there is equity. Yeah, because if, for example, in my constituency, we have 5 wards, and the committees, or at my level, we need to ensure that Ward A and B must have almost the same resources or equal resources, but based on facts. Because we may not also say, let's just segment and say, if you get X, the other one must get X as well. They may be in a way that the projects being undertaken are impactful, what the community desired, and also resources are available to implement.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Olekaka, is that your name?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I notice you have wide experience in the financial field. You have clearly indicated the roles that you would, that the director is supposed to have. And all those we are aware of. But still, we come across a situation where we have a lot of audit queries. Some of the accounts from the fund managers are qualified. Yet we have all those roles, we have all those systems that you have clearly enumerated. Now, if you succeed to be in the board with your experience, can you let us know what you will do to help the fund managers to reduce the qualified audit queries that we normally come across? Because, as you have indicated, and from your experience, everything should be smooth. But now, the situation is not the same. A lot of reports from the audit don't look good. So, as part of your role, what will you do to help the constituencies to minimize those audit queries?
Thank you, Chair. One of the
In other words, I don't know whether you understand the question. You see, the current trend of audit is based on zero fault budgeting. Yes, zero. They call zero?
Zero based.
Zero based. There should be no queries. Yes.
Thank you. This is an issue in persons or officers responsible for resource management. But if given an opportunity, I will obviously look at the situation as it is right now. But I may think of a few issues that, if we take action, will reduce. One is to deal with the issue of documentation. One of the problems the auditors usually find out are not even bigger problem, but just the element of documentation. Either missing vouchers, invoices, just that careless missed loss of documents. So we need to address the issue of documentation, because the original books of entry are as good as the final output of the audit report. So if there's a problem at the original, at the cash book, of course you'll have a problem when you are posting the final figures. One of the issues to handle that is the issue of automation of our financial systems. I'm sure with our automation and with an available infrastructure today, at a click of a button, you're able to generate your financial statement on a monthly basis, trial balance, and so forth. Maybe the other issue has to do with training, so that our officers who are responsible for handling financial reporting have the necessary capacity. And you bring in, ISPAC, you bring in professionals to deliberately ensure that they are properly trained, to ensure that that whole process of accounts preparation, they are knowledgeable, they have the necessary capacity. The other most important thing is the issue of ensuring that there is continuous reporting. Sometimes we may wait up to the end of the financial year Then when it is around May or June is when now we start preparing reports for July last year. So we could sequence and have progress report or quarterly reports, for example. You see, when you have a quarterly report, you'll be able to deal with that quarter and close it. So when you move to the other quarter, you are sure that you had be able to deal with the issues, errors of the last quarter. Then maybe think of how making the issue of elimination of adverse opinion in our audit statements a key issue, a key deliverable issue with our fund managers, for example. Like if we can place them on performance contract, and one of the item is to address audit queries. Once we have an unqualified audit report, and then constituencies can be able to compete among themselves. How many this year were able to improve? How many were able to move to the other level? So once we do that, we encourage that element of discipline and competition among constituencies, because the beauty now is every constituency has its own account. So by that, it becomes a criteria of making sure that we compete among ourselves. And as a board, you can even decide to have some rewards and even sanction at some point. Because why should you have careless audit queries if we have an automated system, if our processes are clear from when funds reach the accounts up to the constituency, it may not be agreed. So lastly, we make this a serious financial, I may not say misconduct, but a financial issue that every fund manager must strive to ensure that they address, they reduce, they move from the level they were going up so that all of us can be able to have clean financial statements. Thank you.
I have another question which possibly you might help this committee. Yeah, I have another question, Mr. Olekaka, which you might be able to help us. You are aware that On-Ng-Cdf handles national government-related projects. That is education, security. But at times, the community might come up with a project, which is also allowed in the law. So the main issue is national government projects. That's education and security. But here is the community that we are serving, and the community will also come up with a project, and that is allowed in the law. What do you think the board will do to ensure that they stick to the law, but also help the community in whatever they have come up with, without creating any conflict in the law?
Thank you, Chair. Of course, this will pose a challenge where you have a project that ideally belongs to the county, and the community has brought the same project because there are problems. And we have, as a responsible leadership, you have to intervene. If it was a classroom, if it was a borehole, you have a responsibility to sort it out. My thinking will be if the law allows that we can do intervention maybe in an area where legally or I'm not, in an area where ideally the thinking is this is an exclusive function of the county government, for example, we may need to initiate discussions. We have the community or the project management committees at that level. We still have the county governments at that level, either the ward administrators and up to the village administrators. I believe this project must come from an area where there is a ward administrator and a village administrator, and to that extent, a concern of the community. If that is the point, and as NCDF, we have the resources, then we just need to allow that opportunity of discussing, because we are serving the same citizens. And I do not think someone will take offense if I intervene in a situation where perhaps maybe a classroom has been taken over by wind, or water has broke the next bridge that leads to the school. Maybe. So I think once we initiate this consultation so that we have, we collaborate at some point, I think that can be able to help the situation. Maybe this doesn't happen more often, but if it happens, at the board level, we may need just to discuss, put a framework, approve or agreeable to the relevant sectoral committee of Parliament, and ensure that there is engagement, there's consultation, because you find yourself in a very difficult position as maybe a honorable member of Parliament, your community are crying to you. Maybe the other side, maybe there is no response, but when implementation starts, they will come and say, this one was ours. So we start kind of engagement, and I am sure as a country or as a leadership, we will be able to resolve for the sake of these people or these Kenyans who have a challenge that need to be addressed. Thank you.
Bas, any other question?
I have one.
Okay.
Mr. Morris Putita Kaka, I just want to get your thoughts, having worked with the counties, especially in a very serious docket. Our original act allowed to do everything. That means to could do dispensaries, markets, libraries, anything when it started. With the new constitution, of course, they went to the county governments. If you are to get this opportunity to be a board member, then you realize there are so many stalled projects worth billions, having been started through the CDF fund, but with the new constitution, most counties have refused to take those projects on because by law we cannot do them, and they are not taking them, so it's money out there lying with no solution in sight. We've had discussion, but for you now, if you are to be part of the board and with your previous experience in counties, what would be your thoughts to unlock this stalemate? Because this public money is taxpayers' money. Thank you. I had only one question.
Thank you. It is true, you find many of these projects, not only in health, dotted across the country. And you'll realize that billions of shillings, if quantified, will potentially go to waste if no action is taken. So this is a decision where one, we may approach it from the relevant committees of Parliament and initiate a discussion with the Council of Governors. These are taxes, these are facilities that are going to address the concerns of citizens. They are not complete. Our resources had already been paid. Maybe a lot of money are being held for contractors because they cannot be paid because the project had not been able to move to the next level. So there is a cross-cutting problem. So I believe maybe the relevant committees pick up with the Council of Governors, maybe also pick up at the level of the ministry responsible, and see how this discussion can be accelerated. One, see how resources can be availed. If counties cannot be able to initiate the process of completion, it will not serve anyone if they remain the way they are throughout. So maybe that is the first approach. But lastly, because some of these challenges, we continue to learn from these problems. And maybe that is the case today, maybe other issues may come up tomorrow. We may need to look at how do we develop processes or policies that ensure that what happens when a project initiated by one level of government stalls and the citizens are crying for the same service. A leader at a certain point must be able to intervene. So I believe this is still part of the cooperation, and we have the intergovernmental, the Economic Council. We can also push at that level because it's an issue of our country, it's an issue of projects that have not been completed, it's an issue of services that have not been effectively rendered to the citizens. So once those discussions can be initiated, I believe we will have a way out. Thank you.
Chair, just some interest on the net worth here. If you look at the sources of income, the first one is income from livestock, which can be supported at the statement of net worth, which has a line on livestock at 21 million. But now, when you go to item number 3 and 4, property income, 2025, 1.24 billion. Then there is also income from private school. But in your list, neither do we see any property listed, unless you're saying you're leasing the land itself, or do we see any school? Because you've said you're earning money from private school, but it doesn't appear in the list of your assets. So unless maybe you clarify. Because you're making an earning from a private school, but in your list of assets, there is no school.
Thank you. The two, yes, indeed I have, I ran a private school. And the land is leased to the school. And I think the same land is also charged. No. So it is true, we draw that income from the school, and the land on which the school is constructed is leased to the school.
Chair, can he make us understand?
Is it this Casina?
No.
Casina and Development.
Casina is a plot.
Kajiado, Kipeto, 3234. Is that the plot?
Yes.
Yeah, it is there.
It is there actually.
Chair,
yes.
You know, we need to be clear. So that clears the property income part. The school is an entity by its own. Therefore, the school has a life of its own. It should be listed as an asset, because that will support line 3, property income, whereby the school has listed that property as stated. So why is the school not listed? I don't know whether I'm clear or I'm
I think possibly you missed. As an accountant, it is a serious omission, because if it is what you are saying is you have leased out the land to the school, and here you are talking about income, you should have said rent or lease from the school. Because if you are running a school, it's different from leasing the land. It's a different ballgame.
Chair,
yes.
What he's stating here, these are two, he's the owner of the property, but leased it to himself, which is understandable, right? But yes, it does happen, because the school has a life of its own. It's a going concern, right? My worry is him skipping the ownership. He has agreed that he owns a school. This school is not somebody else's. It is his. And you cannot say a school is such a small item that you can skip. I'd understand if you skip a motor vehicle. But a school where even there are children, you cannot tell me that was an oversight. Is there a reason that is been left out? And I can say this is not an omission, it's intentional.
Thank you, Chair.
Chair, before he answers, this could be dividend he earns from the school at the end of the year. If the school is doing very well, and end of the year he earns some money from the school, that's part of his income, the dividends he earns.
Now the owner is here.
Chair, if you look at the value of that plot, if you look at the value of land, maybe I may have forgotten to include the value of the constructions, because it's not a bigger school, it's a small school just built with the locally available materials. And maybe I forgot to distinct it, but the value of land and the building inside the land must be equivalent to the asset. Then probably I may have, which I admit may be an oversight, if I didn't include as maybe rental receipts from the lease of the school.
Okay, any other question? Cyril?
The last one, if you are to join the board does what we call best practice projects, just to showcase how actually the CDF funds should be utilized. And you will be sitting in that decision-making table. Will you use your position to put project in your constituency and use the same to undermine the Member of Parliament?
Thank you, Chair. I wouldn't in any way influence the projects to be sent or to be developed in my constituency for whatever kind of ambitions. Because it is best practice, we will be guided by the law, the ceiling established, we will be guided by the allocation of resources made to that constituency, and at all time, we will be guided by the policies issued by the House and the Member of Parliament responsible for the constituency. So I wouldn't, and not only him or any other, undermine his responsibility by factoring in projects that at the end of the day we will be able to make him look like we have competing roles as a director and him as an MP. I remain a subject of the board, and I'll be guided at all time by the best practices of the board, the processes and the procedures and the laws that are followed, and guide the conduct of my own role as a director. Thank you.
Any other?
Who is your MP, by the way?
Songoya.
Honorable Songoya.
Any other? So you will not undermine Songoya?
No, I won't. Yeah.
Tandaza.
But you're also a friend to Honorable Ngongoyo, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a friend. He was a counselor during the days when I was in Kajiado, so we worked with him, and so he has been a colleague.
Were you a counselor also?
No.
Okay. Any other? Okay. Finally is to ask you if there is anything you want to share with us. You want to share with us on this date before you leave the seat where you are free.
Thank you, Chair and members. First, I want to register my appreciation for the engagements we have had. I must appreciate and I'm honored to appear before this committee. Secondly, is to make a commitment and assurance to this committee and Kenyans that given an opportunity, I will discharge my duties in the best interest of my country. I have done before, and I'm happy given another opportunity to serve at this level. I did mention that I participated in processes that ensure that resources go back to the local level. It always, whatever I'm doing right now in Kipeto, and we are complementing the efforts of CDF and CDF. As a chair of the board, I serve 3 members of parliament, Honorable Sunguya, Honorable Maimai, and Honorable Memusi. And we have done quite a number of classrooms, almost 10 water points. We have done livelihood projects. There is a lot that is happening right now which we are doing to complement the effort. So at the end of the day, when resources reaches the lowest level, there is going to be impact. Because that kid will be, that child will be able to go to a good secondary school or good primary school. That bursary will help them to go to the next level, and so forth. So the responsibility that I'm doing right now in Kipeto, and I'm sure Honorable Elachi also knows that we are doing expansion for that project, and there are going to be massive investments for the community. And this role will prepare me more by getting experience, what happens in other places of our country, so that as a Kenyan, as a citizen, and as a servant, I'm able at all times make informed decisions, make impactful decisions that go a long way in alleviating poverty and addressing the economic challenges of our country. And it is factual, it has been demonstrated. There is data out there that with the resources that are being deployed at the lowest level, there is impact. And we believe we will be able to do that with the guidance of the policies, legal processes, and the laws enacted by this committee and other committees of National Assembly. We will be guided to ensure that at our time we make an impact to bring the necessary and positive change for the lives of Kenyans. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maurice, for participating in this vetting process. Shall give you a report soon on the outcome of this, and would like to now release you, and you don't forget to take your original documents plus your ID, and we wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So, thank you so much. I think we can now release the media. We're done with we're now going into a meeting of only members and our members of staff in the committee. Then we can, you are released. You are released.